Welcome to the fourth boss in here. Fifth boss, sorry, even. Which is Ebonroc. He's up behind here. Before we engage Ebonroc, there's a few notable trash mobs. So these Death Talon Worm Guards will have a special ability, but also have a special vulnerability. It's the same for all the Draconid in here. These Death Talon Overseers have the same mechanic, they just don't have a special buff. So these Worm Guards, they have different skill set. They might make the tank spin, they might have a stun, they might have a aggro threat reset, they might have a knockback. There's a wide range of different abilities. Tanks will call these out. We'll use one tank per Worm Guard and then have DPS just nuke everything down. So for this one, you can see all these mobs, they have an elemental shield. This means that they take increased damage from one spell school and decreased damage from all the others. So this one on the right has an arcane increase, which means the mages obviously use arcane missiles for this. This one has also arcane shield, same one. And this one is a nature one, where we would need druids to cast wrath to start damaging it. Druids can also cast Moonfire on the arcane one to see if they can go nuts with that. They can also be weak to fire, shadow, frost, even holy, I believe. So they can have all the spell schools. What's important here is probably mainly the shadow one, as Shadow Priest and Warlocks don't have any threat reduction abilities, so you might be incredibly high on threat really early. So careful about nuking all out to begin with. Tanks should be able to keep them, but it's just something to keep in mind. So I'll pull these just to make sure get out of the way. Right, once you kill these, you can then engage Ebonroc. Ebonroc has a few tank mechanics. Just like Firemaw, this guy does Shadow Flame, so it's important that he's faced away from the raid. The way we do it is that we have Ebonroc stood on the cross, with the main tank stood here in the corner. He will also do a debuff every now and often, which is Shadow of Ebonroc, where whenever he hits you, he heals. So this is where tanks need to swap. So we have main tank here right in the corner, then we have another tank on this side, and another tank on this side, just to make sure that they don't get hit by Wing Buffet and get thrown back like that in an awkward position, with a Shadow Flame to be picked up afterwards. It's incredibly important that you try and stay away from Wing Buffet, so maybe we'll move in here to make sure that Wing Buffet doesn't hit everyone, or all of the tanks, because Wing Buffet does also reduce aggro on tanks. This is a straightforward tank and spank fight. There shouldn't be any raid damage really going out on this, so it's nuke as hard as you can. The main issue for this is tank, where tanks need to be properly coordinated. It's also an awkward fight for melee, as standing to the side or behind Ebonroc to make sure that you don't get hit by a Shadow Flame can be quite tricky, because tank swaps will happen. So make sure that you're always just stood around where the tail is, and you should be good throughout this entire fight, even with him turning a little bit. Other than that, it's straightforward, tank and spank, you kill him, and you get the loot you want.